Okay, class, today we're going to talk about the triangle inequality theorem. And this is just a theorem that describes when is it possible for me to construct a triangle out of three different line segments. There's a certain property where this is true, and that property states that any side of a triangle is always smaller than the sum of the other two sides. Now that's a little wordy, but here's what that means. If I have a triangle, and we'll call this triangle A, B, and C, what that's saying is any side C is always smaller than the sum of the other two, A plus B. So A plus B has to be bigger than C. And the same has to be true for the other two sides. A plus C has to be bigger than B, and B plus C has to be bigger than A. So let's look at this example here. Remember, our rule says that any two sides, when I add them up, has to be bigger than the third side. So if you notice up here, it's keeping track. It's saying AC plus BC is always going to be bigger than AB. And so here we have AB is 20, and right now it's true because 13.9 plus 14 is bigger than 20. Now let's say I made it really, really small. I want to make a small triangle. Notice the closest I can get is 10 and 10.2. Now 10 plus 10.2 is 20.2, so we're still bigger than 20, and I can't push it any flatter. Even as I kind of slide it around, 9.5 plus 10.7 is still 20.2. It's still bigger than that. And if you think about it, if I pushed it totally flat to where it was a straight line, well, the midpoint theorem says that this piece is 10 and this piece is 10. So 10 plus 10 is 20, but that's not bigger than 20, so it does not make a triangle. It would just make a straight line. So that's why as we kind of expand out our triangle, we have to have two sides that add up to be bigger than the third side. Okay, now let's do some practice problems. And so problem number 1 wants to know, do the sides 4, 10, and 5 make a triangle? And if you remember the triangle inequality theorem, it says that any two sides have to add up and be bigger than the third. So let's go through and check. 4 plus 10 is 14, which is bigger than 5. That is true. Let's check another way. 5 plus 10 is 15. That is bigger than 4. That is also true. So far so good. We've got one more to check though. 4 plus 5, is that bigger than 10? Well, 4 plus 5 is 9. That is not bigger than 10. That is false. So since this way does not work, then we cannot make a triangle out of 4, 5, and 10. So no, the answer is no, they do not make a triangle. Let's try another practice problem. Number 2 says, if two sides of a triangle are 3 and 6, what could be the third side? Well, we have a lot of possibilities here. Let's look. Let's say I had, what if my third side was 3? Well, we could check, is 3 plus 3 bigger than 6? No, 6 is not bigger than 6, so that does not work, so it can't be 3. Well, let's try 4. Is 4 plus 3 bigger than 6? Yes, 7 is bigger than 6, so 4 could be a side. Let's try 5. 5 plus 3 is bigger than 6, so that is also true. 5 could be a side. 6 plus 3 is bigger than 6, so that could also be a side. Now here's where it gets a little different. What if I wanted to use 7? Okay. 6 plus 3 is bigger than 7, because now these are my two smaller sides. So we're going to say 3 plus 6 instead of 7 plus 3. So 3 plus 6, is that bigger than 7? Yes, 9 is bigger than 7, so 7 could be a side. What about 8? 6 plus 3 is also bigger than 8, so 8 can work. And lastly, what about 9? 6 plus 3 equals 9, so we have to stop here because remember we have to be bigger than 9. Now, could I use 3.1? Well, 3.1 plus 3 is 6.1. Is that bigger than 6? Yes. So I can't use 3, I just have to be bigger than 3. And for the same reason, I can't use 9, I just have to be smaller than 9. Could I use 8.9? Yes, because 3 plus 6 is 9, which is bigger than 8.9. So I could still use anything as long as it's less than 9 and bigger than 3. Okay, and if you look carefully, we started with 3 and 6. So how can I take 3 and 6 and come up with 3 and 9? Well, hopefully you see it. Well, 6 minus 3 gives me the first part, 3. And 6 plus 3 gives me the second number, 9. So anytime you have a problem like this, to find the smaller part of the range of values, you subtract them. And to find the larger part of the range of values, you add them. Okay?